All right. Okay, I see Lily is back. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our last hour. And the next presenter may not need an introduction since she's serving one of the program coaches and is very well known for what she does. But Lily Hope is an award-winning distinguished artist and community leader. Her work is collected by the Smithsonian, the Burke Museum, Museum of Nature and Man in Germany, the Eiteljorg, the Alaska State Museum. She's also in the private collection of the Jeffrey Gibson, a lot of other museum and collectors all over the world. In addition to being an amazing artist, a mother to 5, and a community leader, Lily is also a teacher and a collaborator, which is why it is such an honor for me to say these words and welcome her to this program. She's going to talk to us about being a prosperous artist. And it's my pleasure to turn this over to you, Lily.
Thank you, Jess. Thanks, y'all, for having me. And thank you to Amisha for giving us the most comprehensive overview of how we can orient our business. I never think about angel investors, but yes, please bring me all the angels. So thank you for that. Because whether we like it or not, and whether we can handle it or not, we are in the business of making art. Hopefully we'll begin to like the business side more after today's explorations. I'm gonna launch into this. Wait, am I allowed to do? Wait, I can do things. Is this a thing? And then view slideshow. Yes? Hooray! Officially, we are talking about prosperity consciousness in art making. And this applies to any person, whatever else we are doing in our lives. But I'm gonna start by saying, I'm Tlingit Raven Dukdaintan, Wushkindaindaat Yukhatuasak. My Tlingit name is Wushkindaindaat. It means people walking together in an upward trajectory, not necessarily in a straight line like follow the leader, but everyone going upward together, or many going together upward. So I live and work in Juneau, Alaska. Yes, I have 5 children. I also have a nanny 30 hours a week and an ex-husband who watches his children once or twice a week. So I have a lot of support. People are like, how do you do it? I drink a lot of coffee and I lift heavy weights. This is my primary work. I weave ceremonial chilkat dancing blankets. And I'm one of a handful who have woven adult-size robes of this size. This one lives in the Houston Museum of Natural Science on permanent display in their new Great Hall of the Americas. And as far as I know, there's not another robe like this one, where there are 2 beings kind of existing in the same space. There's this spirit being and hands and face, and then the primary black traceable adapted form line design of a diving whale. So more on that in the future. I'm sure you can YouTube that, and there's some video content about this particular robe. I also teach a lot. This is the largest collection of child-sized chilkat dancing robes in the last 200 years. We talk about the chilkat dancing blanket as the way that we assert Native identity, the way we record history, dream, story, how we elevate our clan identity. Some of these have some rainbow. I don't know where the rainbow one is in this picture, but we are bringing in more of our pride and intersectioned identities. So yeah, each one of these artists now has the capacity to weave chilkat dancing robes or adult-size ones. And it's the largest collection or largest volume of weavers we've had since 1908 that, you could ask any one of these artists to weave a full-size robe. Prior to this, there were five artists who were weaving chilkat dancing blankets on the daily. I mean, you could approach them and say, hey, I want one of these, or hey, this museum reached out. I could give 4 other names to people when people say, oh, why is your commission calendar full? Who else can I ask? I knew 4. Now I know 24. It's very cool. I also take my same materials, ceremonial materials, and weave 1 square inch of ceremony. So that is, I love that you asked about trademark. I did just submit that to the trademark office, copyright trademark office, so I can have the little TM next to it, because that is Lily Hope Weaver's trademark, is 1 square inch of ceremony. Trademark pending. Very fun. Challenging and simple, time consuming, but simple to submit. So try it out if you want to do it. These are bougie indigenous earrings. Definitely positioned myself in the market to sell these at a higher price than others might. You know, the time that it takes to make it is only a part of the experience, but really you are taking a small part of a ceremonial work, like behind me, and wearing it. It's very, very cool, because not everybody can afford a full-size robe. So that's how I pull this off. Here we go. Great art begins and continues with great questions and curiosity. When we keep that what if feeling going, maybe our making feels more like play. We uncover things about our world and ourselves in the most satisfying way that often resonates with others. Today, we're going to dig into art making, requesting and accepting support, and shifting into a prosperity mindset. We're going to start by getting kind of vulnerable. Give me an emoji reaction, or a thumbs up or heart or a celebration or a thumbs down if you have heard, or maybe you believe, or someone has said to you, art making and money making are not synonymous. Oh gosh, do anything but be an artist, because how are you going to live? Give me your low reaction. I can't see my reactions here. Oh, sad. This is something yeah, right? How many of us have parents? Mine were actually artists, so they didn't talk us out of it. But how many have parents or family members that were like, please, anything but an artist, just shovel snow for a living. At least you'll have a paycheck. In Juneau, that is real right now. But this is like the foundation of where we're starting, right? Of like this ingrained society supported belief that if you're an artist, you must be starving. So this is where we step into vulnerability. When I say, what is holding you back from making 100% of your annual income from your art? What is it? What's the thing that's like, and I'm not going to give you any prompts. You just get to drop it in the chat. What is the thing that's holding you back from making 100% of your income from your art? Ooh, health insurance and benefits. Allison says the economy. I'm going to turn this off. Let's see. Raising prices. Anyone else want to drop one in here? All right. So those are all pretty good. Fear, right? Amisha, real. The fear is real. Confidence, yep. All those things. Changing our mindset around making money as artists involves changing and shifting our perspectives. Adopting new beliefs and developing a strategic approach to monetizing our art. Changing our mindset starts where we focus, right? We know our own minds best. As we scroll through these few ways of how to level up our careers through a mind shift, I want you to jot down pieces of this 10 or 11 here. Which part of this might you want to work on this year? Just jot it down next to you. It doesn't have to go in the chat. Yeah, Jessica said, I challenged myself last year and grossed about 60,000 from my art plus culture work, but now I'm burnt out. Yeah, my craft can be physically demanding as a Black ash weaver. I struggle keeping up while taking care of myself. Yeah, let's talk about that, Leandra. So I want you to start here on what of these pieces do you want to maybe pull one of these or two of these out of the off the page and jot it down as like, I'm gonna work on this part, overcoming fear of rejection, or just overcoming fear. That's the focus for 2024. We're still in January. No, we're not. Yes, we are. No, we're not. Sad, February 1. So I'm going to read through each of these pieces, valuing our work, understanding. So when we value our work, we understand that our art has value, recognizing the time, skill, creativity that we invested in creations. And if we don't value our work, it's challenging for others to see its worth. And on that same note, we get to trust our intuition because you know when it's done and when it's good. We want to come into embracing abundance, shifting from that scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. Instead of fearing that there's not enough success or opportunities to go around, we believe that there are plenty of opportunities for everyone, including you and you and you and you and you, which is a total, like, when you said economy, artists and people making wall art and things for home like blew through the roof during the pandemic. So the economy isn't necessarily the issue. It's all in our mind and our willingness to put ourselves into the world. It's so wild. Like, I sat down with my financial planner yesterday and she said that discretionary spending or like unnecessary spending is higher than it was 3 years ago. How is that possible? We're like on the other side of a pandemic, only a few people wearing masks, and people are spending more right now than they were during the pandemic on like unnecessary things, frivolous things, art, right? Art is not frivolous. We want to set realistic goals, establishing clear and achievable financial goals for our art, breaking each goal into smaller, manageable steps. This makes the pursuit of monetary success more tangible and less overwhelming. We want to diversify income streams, multiple avenues for bringing in money, selling originals, prints, merchandise, teaching classes. We'll get into that a little bit. We want to invest in ourselves, continuously improving our skills and staying informed on the art market. We're going to attend workshops, take online courses, network with other artists. Are you exhausted already? Like just those few, like, really, this is what it takes to be an artist? This investment, though, you guys, this is something we don't talk about. When we say invest in yourself, it's not just get the next like skill in whatever you're working in, right? It's not just explore some watercolor, do some collage. It's your investment includes automating, putting away the first 10% of every dollar that comes into your realm, into your sphere. I want you, if you do nothing else, you might do a few other things this year, but start automating 10% of every check going into a Roth IRA until you hit the $6,500 a year, because nobody else, unless you have a sweet state job while you're making art, nobody else is putting away your retirement. Start now and finish rich. Okay, so retirement, that's real. We can do it. It's only $550 a month now to put away $6,500. We get to overcome the fear of rejection, understanding that not everyone is going to appreciate or purchase your art, and that's okay. Don't let the fear of rejection hold you back. We want to focus on finding a niche audience who appreciates and supports what you are offering, your unique expression. And of course, we have to promote ourselves, developing self-promotion skills, using social media, website, all that kind of fun stuff. But if you don't want to promote yourself, get your kid or your neighbor or someone who really likes making content and get them over into your space and let them create for you. Because I like it, it's kind of fun, but other artists are like, oh, please, I don't want to do any of my face on the screen. So get somebody else to like shoot over your shoulder, get somebody else to shoot your hands at work, or take nice reels of your messy table, because we viewers love to see your mess. Get someone to do it for you. We have to understand the business side, educating ourselves on the business aspect, which we are starting today. Yay. But like you can learn strategies and contracts and marketing and branding. And YouTube has so much of this. Like if you just said, okay, every Tuesday, I'm going to spend 45 minutes just binge watching all the branding free content I can get on YouTube. And then you're like, okay, on Fridays, I'm just going to watch marketing strategies for artists. You can Google that on YouTube and go deep into the rabbit hole. Something we overlook in our prosperity is celebrating successes, the smallest ones. This positive reinforcement, like, brings about this positive mindset toward making money. You sell a single item, clink some sparkling apple cider with your friend. You sell a bigger piece of artwork, take your honey out and go on a walk and get ice cream cones. Like, the small things that you can celebrate are just going to snowball into more and more positivity. The mind focusing on that good just brings more and more good. Instead of being like, oh, I can't put another thing out there. Oh my gosh, what if they hate it? Oh my God, what if I make bad art? If it's, I make things and I don't have to love every single one of them, somebody's going to love this. Maybe not today. Maybe it'll be tomorrow or next week. Again, bringing it back to the list, network with other artists. Me and Alison Bremner, do you guys know the forum line artist Alison Bremner? She just did this series with Starbucks. She designed for Starbucks. She's an Alaska Native forum line design collagist and painter. She did a collab with Starbucks, and she and I text each other a couple times, 3 times a week sometimes, and we're just like, you're so awesome. Whatever you're making right now is so great. And I'm telling you, me and Alison Bremner have hung out for 2 hours in real life in the last 5 years. But we text each other all the time. So network. Get somebody in your corner who is willing to just freak out on how awesome you are. Could be your person, could be another artist. When you are surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals, they will inspire and motivate you. And this last one, prioritizing rest and movement. I did a training where this woman was presenting from Creative Capital, actually, and she came up to Alaska and said, for the rest of your life, I want you to put away 1 day a week. It can be a Thursday or a Sunday or whatever you say. And you have to not work. No cooking, no cleaning the house, no cleaning the toilet, no work, no emails, no nothing. And you're going to put your feet up and read trashy People magazines, or you're going to Netflix and really Netflix, or spend all day in bed with your honey, or whatever it is that is not working. And I'll add to that movement is critical in positivity, in changing your mind, in changing how you work. If you can even just, as you transition from, I just did an hour of emails, I'm going to start making my work right now. You spend a 15-minute walk doing that every time there's a transition, your whole mind, your whole world is going to change. Maybe you want to join a gym and lift weights 5 times a week. Maybe that's too much. Maybe the 15-minute walk 2 or 3 times a day is the thing that changes your mind. So, yes, you know what's coming. Drop it in the chat. Which one might you work on in 2024? I'm going to leave that there. Which one makes you go, oh, I don't want to do that? Or, oh, I really should do that? Or, oh, please don't make me lift weights. Yes, rest and movement. I know, even Jess, who's working full-time or too much for full-time. Yes, rest and movement. Seriously? I love this. Oh, valuing your work for reals. I want to see how you bring that to life, Amanda. Can't wait, can't wait. Also, I think I get to hang out with you in Palm Springs in November. Like, I already bought my hotel and registered for the conference, so this is going to be fun. Embrace abundance and understand the business side. Nice, Ethan. Yeah, valuing your work. Oh, it's so hard to value your work. And when you start to put your work out in the world and you're like, oh, this is $100. If you're going to offer it at $100, double it right away. Like, don't even offer it at your first instinct, double it already. And we'll get there. We'll get to that. Embracing abundance. Thanks. Thanks for thinking through this with me. Okay, so this is your next question. Each of us have a thing, right, that we make. When someone asks, I make such and such, like, what is your elevator pitch? If somebody's like, oh, you're an artist, what do you make? Drop it in the chat. What is the unique things that you make, that you offer? And it doesn't have to be tangible, right? Some people are teaching ethereal things. 1, 2, 3 things that you offer to the world that's unique.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Siri wants to know what we to make. Put my thing on do not disturb here. All right. So what is your unique expression? Hey, connection to culture. Oh my gosh. That's huge. And is it connection to the Sogpiak culture through art making? Or through workshops?
I have like Bougie Alutik, which is my little business where I do earrings. But then I also coordinate the Pacific Northwest Alutuk Culture Camp, which helps people in the like Alutuk Sogpiak diaspora connect with our culture, because most of our shareholders and tribal citizens live out of Alaska, like I do, in Washington.
That's rad. Very, very cool. Gourd art, experimental film work, jewelry and wearables, representative of Southeastern tribes. Cool. Nice. All right. So I want you to hold on to this because you know what your unique thing is. These are tangible ways, right? Teaching and making art are tangible ways for us to pay our bills. Most artists will confess, let's see, what's making bags where people all over carry on Northern Plains culture for the world to see. Nice. Oneida Black Ash basket weaver, makes traditional baskets, aid in corn processing and modern utilitarian, express how elegant and strong vessels from our native lands are. Thanks for sharing, Leandra. Thanks for throwing out your expression. Yeah, hold on to this. We're going to come back to it because those are a few core things that you do to make money, right? Most artists who are actually like sustaining themselves making art, the making of the art is one part of it, because look, these are 11 different ways that we're generating money. We're selling artwork, prints and reproductions. We're doing traditional sales, right? We're selling our earrings or paintings or drawings or sculptures through galleries, direct to buyers. We're making high quality prints or reproductions and sells them as limited edition or open editions, reaching a broader market, meaning not everybody has $4,000 to buy the big thing or $10,000. So these prints are really affordable and accessible and get your work into the world faster. We can accept commissions, including portraits, murals, larger pieces tailored to client perspectives. We can teach workshops. And that's so key for Native artists to continue to perpetuate our cultures and our art forms and all of that ash basketry and beadwork and the Northern Alaskan tribes. Yeah, Inupiaq, Yupik, all that. And licensing is like licensing our artwork for various products like home decor, stationery, apparel, all of that. There are some great Canadian companies who love featuring Native artists, especially Northwest Coast artists. So licensing is a big deal. And again, I encourage you to go down the YouTube rabbit hole around licensing your work, because pricing of licensing is such a huge range. Like I've been paid $100 to license something and I've been paid $2,000 to license something. So it depends on what they're going to do with it. Crowdfunding, Patreon, Kickstarter, Ko-fi, K-O-F-I, like coffee. I don't recommend those to artists on the regular, similar to what Amisha said, that they are like putting a Kickstarter together and then maintaining it for the 40 days that it's running or whatever is a full-time job on itself. Like you will stop doing all the other things to manage your Kickstarter and continue to post on it. I have a snow machine outside, so sorry if I talk a little louder. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's, wow, that's a lot. Arts and grant residencies, merchandising, which is a thing that I really want to go big into this year. Like putting your work and images of your work, beadwork and things like that on posters and mugs and phone cases. This can be a huge way to promote your brand, to promote your expression, but I will ask you very strongly not to order yourself 1,000 mugs and then have to ship them to people. Please let Printful or some other t-shirt company, I think Bonfire, other people do that for you, where you send them the image and they replicate it for you and ship and fulfill the orders. Like, please don't become a retailer. Like, you don't want to spend your life packing and shipping things unless you have a teenager who's going to do that for you. Of obviously applying for grants and residencies, digital art and NFTs. I can't speak to those, but holy smokes, NFTs blew up they're still blowing up. So again, go down the YouTube rabbit hole, go for it. Freelance and commercial projects, and of course, museum show curation when you get to that point, and honorariums for consultations and cultural collaborations. Of this list, which ones other than making art, right? Which of those, going back, so yes, we make and sell art, right? Which one of these do you want to like level up this year and just go deep into researching it and finding as much as you can? Maybe you want to teach more workshops. Maybe you want to take on big commissions. Go ahead, throw it in the chat. Which one are you gonna explore? Beep. Curation, yes. Oh, go into more what licensing is. Okay, merchandising and expand merchandising, licensing. Yes, commissions for Sydney Akagi. And it's wonderful and terrible, because once people know that you're taking on commissions, you're gonna have a 3-year, 5-year, 10-year waiting list. Like, because you're like one of 7 people who actually have something on the loom, you're gonna blow up. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna go into what licensing is. What is licensing? Licensing is when you say, I made this floral beadwork pattern from the Athabascan culture, and I'm going to allow you to print it on these mugs and print it on these mugs and print it on these t-shirts, and you're going to pay me $2,500, right? That's licensing. It could also be, oh, you guys are doing a metal installation in the sidewalk and you need some original artwork from a native artist. I'm going to license this particular design for you. They're going to pay you to get joint copyright, essentially. You're not giving up don't ever be careful giving up full copyright to your work, because then they can run with it forever into the future. So when you do license something, you make sure that you have copyright, the rights to reproduce it on mugs if you want to, but you also license it and let them have it, this particular artwork, for a specific fee. Again, go down the rabbit hole and go like deep into licensing your artwork. That is the thing. But yeah, you can, I mean, there are people who sketch pictures of ferns and little flowers and things and license those to other places. I want to expand my merchandising options. Like to know, yes, licensing. Merchandising, nice. Commissions. Currently sell art, do commissions, and have done grants and residencies. I'd like to branch into prints, reproductions, and merchandising. Again, unless, like, I will encourage you, and we'll get to that a little bit, I will encourage you to hire the people that can support you in making prints and reproductions and helping you merchandise. Because every task that we learn really well around making prints and reproductions, merchandising our work, all the little things that someone else can do in our business, I'm a fan of letting other people do it, because it takes 2,500 hours for me to do one piece of work. I need those people to be really skilled at making prints and wrapping them up and putting them up for sale. Prints and yeah, not everyone can afford baskets. Prints of weaving, that'd be so beautiful. Black ash forest for people to have. Yes, I'm with you, Leandra. And Jessica says prints and reproduction and museum shows curation, cultural connection. Yeah. Okay. So this is where it gets really fun. Okay. Okay. So what, hold up, beep, just kidding. Okay. So we're going to come back to the critical things that we do, right? The 1 to 3 things that we offer. Remember how we brought that up in the very beginning of our Zoom. If you have a piece of paper next to you, I want you to jot those down. So, right? Keep those at the top of your mind, that those are the things that you offer, your unique creative expression. When somebody says, what do? I'm a collagist. I'm a painter. I'm a weaver. I do this, this, and this. I make regalia. I make this. Da, da, da. I teach cultural workshops. I'm continuing the art form of the Anishinaabe. Like, this is thing, right? Okay. So, ready? Now, on an alternate piece of paper, I'm going to be quiet. You're going to start a list of the have to do things, the creative tasks and work that you have to do so that you have the time and energy and space to do your 1 to 3 creative offering things, right? This is your have to do list. I want at least a couple of these things to be things that you hate so much about being an artist. Cleaning the studio, doing taxes, inventory, purchasing materials, cleaning the toilet. Oh, I said that already. Okay. I'm going to be quiet for a second so you can make this list. I want you to have at least 10 to 100 items. Just brain dump all the stuff. Want some help? Emails, teaching workshops. Oh gosh, updating your website. I'm going to stop talking. I swear. Okay. On your must-do list, there are a few things that you have to do that might make you want to quit being an artist. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, are you kidding me? If I have to clean another toilet, I'm going to quit. Don't make me clean my studio toilet. People think that's crazy that I don't want to spend 25 seconds swooshing a thing around with some chemicals in a toilet. But from a mental load standpoint, with the 7,500 other things that I'm like, oh, did I do that? Did I email so-and-so? Did I create that PowerPoint for the February 1? Holy smokes, I didn't even send it to the lead presenter. Oh my gosh, right? That stuff is like already crushing on my art life. I don't want to have to think about the toilet. So I want you to circle 1 or 2 items on your must-do list. Not your creative expression, but those things that bring you just like, you want to scratch your nails on the chalkboard. Not do that. So drop those in the chat if you feel comfortable. The things that you just want to stop doing forever, or like, I don't actually understand taxes. I'd like to never do them again. That's why I have an accountant, right? Go ahead, drop it in the chat. Is the chat? Yeah, all the actual business stuff of your business, right? So Tasha, that's an opportunity for you, which is coming. The opportunity here is sweeping my house. Why? I know, sweeping. So that's where you like say, hey, teenager who lives down the street, come over every day at 3:30 and just sweep my house. Email, social media, organizing, making supplies. Vacuuming, keeping track of receipts, taxes, websites, social media posts. Social media is a thing. It is really, we just have to, we got to get those people who can do it. Buttons, pockets, order taking. Oh, sewing buttons on and doing pockets on the things you're making, Sarah? Wow. Yeah, order taking. I would love to have somebody who just answers my phone and manages my calendar. Just, hey, can you just see if I'm available on Thursday to do this thing? Yeah, time suck, right. Yes, correct. Like those things. Sarah, there are people out in the world who love sewing buttons and are so key. Lost inventory. Ooh, like managing lost inventory, Allison? Ooh. Oh, good, you outsource them. Sweet. Okay, because that's what's coming, you guys. That's the thing. For the rest of your creative life, the things that you just circled on that long list of must-dos, you are encouraged and you have permission to stop doing those things for the rest of your life. My 9-year-old cleans the toilet. Sometimes my domestic executive support person, AKA nanny, comes to my studio and cleans my studio toilet. It is offsite, not in my house. And this is like one of those baby steps toward prosperity, because when we stop doing the things that suck our life energy, that suck our creative, unique expression, our lives improve. So from now on, I want you to find somebody skilled, if it's a necessary thing like taxes or accounting or sewing on buttons. I want you to find someone who is going to do that and start by paying them an hour a week, because that hour of mental health space that you get the first month or 2 months that you are paying this person, life-changing, creative expression changing, blossoming. Okay. So there you go. You get to do that. Okay. On the road to prosperity and thinking about our lives in terms of what am I spending my life doing? I'm not going to do any more of those things that I hate, at least 1 or 2 of them. On that road, we want to talk about the allocation of time. This is Pandemic Babysitter. It was in a show called Mother. And it's woven in Raven's Tail and Chilcat, but the little icons there, YouTube and Roblox and what is that, Minecraft and Among Us, those are all things that babysat my children over the pandemic. Time allocation. We want to think about our art making in terms of keeping only 20% of the dollars that come into our creative life. Does that freak you out? My collage friend said that if he wants to make $100,000 in a year and keep that in his realm, he has to put out $500,000 worth of work. My brain can't even fathom what that is. Like, what are you talking about? But here's the little breakdown here. 20 to 25 to city and fed taxes, 15 to 20 for studio rent, utilities, fees, 20% or even more of that reinvested into materials and supplies, 10% to your contractors, kids and staff. And when I say kids, if you have children, start paying them to model, to stuff envelopes, to label things, to do like prep materials, to measure out yarns and cut those for you, because you can pay your child a little over $13,000 a year. They can put half of that tax-free into a Roth IRA right now and start building a custodial Roth IRA for their future, so that when they turn 25, they can buy a condo with actual things off of that. Yeah. Yep. Paying your son too, right, Sarah? This is a thing. So again, that 10% to contractors, that can be the person who cleans your bathroom, who sews on your buttons, what else are what are the other tasks? We're talking about taxes and ordering materials. Like, if you don't love maintaining your inventory, you can just be like, hey, I used yeah, shipping. That's for reals. My children love packing stuff up and shipping it. They're really good. So yeah. Social media, get somebody in your realm who already loves social media, or maybe you don't know if they do. And I want you to get them to pay for your social media postings. They can come over for a single afternoon and make a whole bunch of content. You just bring like 3 or 4 different tops and like put your hair up, change your earrings, and like make a whole bunch of stuff so that you can post every day, every other day. Just go there. Again, YouTube rabbit hole. I'm like, how do you do social media? Yes, production assistant. Amanda, score, 14 years old. Yes, money. And money that like stays in the family, right? Then you don't have to buy him the fancy shoes. You don't have to buy him the new jacket. Why are you wearing another Hawaiian shirt? I love you. Oh my gosh, you're an Alaskan. So much. Takes after the grandfather. Okay. So this is a lot. There is so much in our life that we are not paid to do. Okay. I want you to think about the math of this. We don't get paid to add workshop dates to our calendar, enter expenses into QuickBooks, show up for Zoom presentations, artist consultations, mentorship courses, virtual and in-person planning, intro meeting for future classes, emails, so many emails, phone calls, material purchasing, inventory, teaching workshops, updating our resume, our website, our bio, scheduling photo shoots for the new headshots and work sample images, and recording B-roll for social media and posting on social media, and editing the PowerPoint presentation and writing the next narrative for that community art project that you want to do, and researching and writing, submitting grant applications, and prepping for First Friday art events in public markets and other pop-up holiday and summer open air markets in Santa Fe Indian Market and Herd Museum Show and every Native music festival to sell our artwork in person. Connecting with galleries. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. I didn't get paid for any of that stuff. What did I forget to do? Make art. Are you kidding me? If you pay your, here it is. Here's the truth of it. If you think about only keeping 20%, $75 an hour is only $18.75. $150 an hour is only $30 an hour. I pay my executive assistant $30 an hour. I pay my nanny $22 an hour. What am I doing? How do I sustain this? I have to start at $150 an hour. People think I'm crazy and they're like, are you serious? You do presentations for $500, for $1,000? Your 6-hour workshops are $758? That's right, because I'm keeping 30. I have all the overhead, right? I have to pay my teenager to do my shipping for me, to cut my yarns for me. Come on, I got stuff. This is part of running your business. Okay. Okay, here's where it gets kind of wild. And we might get to do this in the chat, but here we go. Cost of goods sold, product offering comparison. So a lot of my work in the last 17 years has been making Chilkat ceremonial regalia of the adult size and smaller size varieties. My blanket, the last one I sold, the one I showed you as the first work slide of mine, sold for $60,000. My material costs were $7,000 just for the warp and weft and beaver fur and accoutrement that finished out my work. My shipping to them was $370. That is registered mail with the US Postal Service so that every single time it hits a new city, it's signed off and like it lives in a locked closet in between, because I'm not a known shipper with FedEx or UPS. So my real income from that robe was $52,630. You divide that by the 2,500 hours that I put in, I was making $21 an hour. Guess what? That's $21 an hour that I kept 20% of, you guys. Do you understand that? 2,500 hours, $21 an hour, making less than all of my support people. And I'm only keeping 20%. How am I still alive? Why am I making ceremonial art at $60,000 a piece? The sad part about this is the week that I dropped this off and they handed me the final payment check, they paid me in 4 different installments over 2.5 years. That week, I found out that my mother's colleague, who has woven 3 adult-sized Chilkat robes, sold her last robe for $107,000 because she makes the commissioner, the buyer, pay for that $7,000 material cost. So she sold it at $100,000. Do the math on that. Okay, so she's making $42 an hour minus the 80% that she paid her studio rent and her kid to help her, and right? Holy smokes. Okay. Okay, wait. When somebody asks me to make another Chilkat dancing blanket, I won't be selling it for $60,000 because this came after the fact, right? That's real. 2.5 years of work at $20 an hour. Minus 80% to all my other expenses. My studio rent is $1,500. Here's my woven earrings. People are like, wow, those are really expensive. Holy smokes. But I'm paying for bougie boxes, tissue paper, stickers, doesn't include shipping because they pay for the shipping, minus the ear wires and the findings and the warp and weft yarns that go into the work. I'm bringing in about $140 per pair of earrings. People are like, wow, that's really great. Yeah, but divide it by 2 hours of work, $71 an hour. So somebody throw it in the chat. Ask your Siri, what is $71 times 20%. What is 20% of $71? What am I actually making? Got it? Yeah, that's real. 1420. Thanks, Sarah. Okay, am I supposed to give up being an artist? Do I want to just like go put my head in the snow berm and quit? Like, what is actually happening right here? How does a person survive this? And when somebody says, oh, I can't afford your art, you can be like, that's right. I can almost not afford to make it for you. And if somebody says, I can't afford that, those are not your people. You want the people who are going to drop 10 grand on a painting, who are going to drop $160 on an earring. You can sell your work for $25 a pair and you'll sell a lot of them. But why would you do that? Because you know what you want to do? You want to give people the opportunity to pay you a high dollar for your art. We value things differently when we have dropped $160 on it. When it's a square inch of ceremony, that is a totally different experience than like, I got one of these for me and I got $20 earrings for my sister and I got 20 da, da, da. And this feels significant to the buyer because they are helping a native artist, helping an artist, doesn't even have to be a native artist, helping an artist pay their bills. They're helping perpetuate this art form that was almost lost, right? That there's only a handful of people that can do this art form. It's pretty cool. What is it? You got to give people the opportunity to pay you a high dollar for your work. They want to collect you. They want to. They want to. Okay. Where are you going to focus your time? These are my 5 kids. Where are you going to focus your time? I know that I don't want to weave another, like, I don't want to weave another ceremonial robe at $60,000. Let me tell you that. And the wild part is I don't love weaving ceremonial regalia. I love the community around weaving. I love teaching it. I love being in a space with like 20 other people doing it or 6 other people doing it. But I'm not weaving for the dollars, obviously. Like that is not a thing. I'm weaving for the continuity of culture, for the community that is built around this work. That's what keeps me coming back. Yeah, Jessica says, I recently had a sale just before Christmas, sold 3 pair, took the sale away, took new photos and sold 15 pairs at full price. Yeah, you got to give people the opportunity. If you never do sales, people just know. That's the thing, right? They just know, I'm going to go drop some real money on Jessica's work. Where will you focus your time? So here's your homework. Take a photograph of this. These are the 4 books that I want you to listen to or read or digest over the coming 11 months before I see you in November, okay? Or soon. And I like to pick up, like The Psychology of Money is so fun. Me and my honey were reading it together and we're like, wow, I wish we had read this when we were 20. This is so amazing. The Psychology of Money. Alison Bremner turned me on to You Are a Bad Booty at Making Money by Jen Cicero. And the art and fear is for all of us who are like, oh, please, I want to make art, but I don't want to put it in the world. I don't want to do it. And starting in that space of curiosity. And what if I did this? What if I tried it this way? Questions for me? Sure, I can send the slideshow to you. Hit me with a question. Does anybody want to? Go ahead.
This is Sarah. I am approached a lot to teach and I enjoy it, but I mostly love creating, obviously, but getting people to buy into my pricing is so different. Some people are like totally for it, other people are like, but once I break it down, I'm not making that much teaching. And then it's not just the time of the class, it's all the prep work leading up to it, the curriculum, the supplies, setup, takedown, all of those things. And it's also my time away from creating and selling items at my potential earnings. So I calculate all of that into my proposals, but they're not always received well. And I'm fine with that. But if you have any tips or suggestions or whatever, and I don't do sales. I'm not lowering my pricing. So those aren't options. So that's off the table, but just to try to get people to hire me for their events at my price. I don't know.
Yep. Yep. I mean, if like if you're comfortable sharing. So yes, if you are, let's see. If you're at $150 an hour for prep, offering the workshop and cleanup, that's the baseline, right? If you're going above that, good. But if you're not hitting $150 for material prep hours, for setting up, for teaching the workshop, and then cleanup, and like that opportunity cost of making your other higher dollar sales, start there. I mean, that's like when I tell people that my daily, like weekday rate is $150 an hour or $500 to $1,000 for a in-person, like in-person or Zoom presentation like this one, like they're like, are you kidding me? And I don't need those people in my life. Those are not the people that I want to teach for. Those are like, I'm one of like maybe 100 people who could offer this content, right? Like all of the rabbit holes I've gone down on YouTube, right, is getting distilled down into this thing. So I don't feel bad. And like from a Chilkat weaving standpoint, like this image of this robe, I'm like one of a few people who can teach it. And obviously, if you're being hired to do this, Sarah, you're not only knowledgeable in your work, but you have a thread of kindness that comes through. And those two things together in one person are the best teachers, right? The knowledge and the ability to share it in a meaningful way with kindness. And kindness is so underrated, right?
Yeah, I appreciate your input. I'll give an example, just won't name the artist, but they book at $2,800 per person for a jacket workshop over a 2 or 3 day period. And there's people back home complaining about that rate, but I broke down the pricing and that's 3 times the cost of what it actually takes. And I don't know what else this person does for a living, but I'm like, actually, that's right on. And, depending, there's a minimum participants and everything's prepaid and contract and cancellation, like all those things are factored in. But it's interesting just hearing people's comments. I'm like, yeah, you can buy a jacket for $800 or $1,200 or $1,600 versus doing your own workshop one time for $2,800. I get what they're saying, but they don't understand the pricing behind everything.
Right. And what we are offering as Native artists is not taking a watercolor class, taking a collage class, taking an acrylic class. There are few people who do what we do. So they're paying for the scarcity, right? They're paying for, there's me and 3 other teachers who are willing to travel across the world and teach this art form. And then there's maybe like 7 other people who could teach it, but they're not going to leave their home city. Right? So like that 2,800, and once someone learns how to do what we're doing, they can make $100,000 a year, right? So yes, you could, it's that whole thing of like, oh, I really love those socks that somebody made. I'm going to go buy $90 worth of yarn and make myself one. I mean, on the one hand, it's beautiful. And on the other hand, like, wait, once they learn the skill, they're going to go replicate it, or they have the capacity to go replicate it. And there's something about making it ourselves and like teaching that to other people that is more valuable than buying it off the rack or buying it direct from the artist, right? So they're paying for scarcity. They're paying for the ability to replicate. They're paying for you, the individual who has spent your lifetime mastering this craft. Jessica, I would just bump it up to $150 of active teaching. And yeah, $50 an hour. Why is $50 an hour for prep cleanup different? It needs to be just across the board. Like if I spend 6 hours in a day not doing my other work that's making me more money, $142 a pair of earrings, right? Across the board, $150 no matter what, 6 hours. That includes an hour of prep and setup, 4 hours of teaching, and an hour of like Q&A bonding with the students or whatever it is, right? And that's my baseline, $750 for up to 6 hours, up to. If we only work for 5 hours and 15 minutes, they're still paying me $750. Here's one. I get 1 day a week on the weekend with my children. It's a Saturday. If somebody asks me to travel over the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I miss the Saturday, the only day of the week that I get with my children, the opportunity cost of that doubles. So my $750 Monday through Friday that I get paid for this time, and I'm saying teaching a workshop or offering, engagement with multiple people's lectures are different, but that opportunity cost of missing that day with my children, I only get 52 Saturdays in a year with my children. They're at school, we're working all the time. It's $1,500 for you to have me on a Saturday. Same on Sunday, because that's my only day where I can put my feet up and binge watch my series for 6 hours. You're paying for that opportunity cost because I don't get that rest. And then I go to work on Monday and I end up working 30 hours, 30 days in a row without a break. And then I go, well, take a break. Okay. More questions, thoughts? Holy smokes. What are you going to jump into as we get off of here? What's your rabbit hole that you're going to go down first? A walk. Yes. Ooh, a pricing audit. Yes. Sarah, the pricing audit is so good. Like looking at the cost that it takes to do these things and making sure that your hours are included in that. Yeah, pricing. Find the things that bring you the highest dollar per hour and make sure you are doing those on the regular. Like I've been evaluating my business since last year, and me weaving 2 pairs of earrings a day makes more sense than me doing any other work ever, right? Having my work in those real estate shows, no one usually knows sales come from that. Oh, interesting. You put your work in mock-up houses, like when people are doing real estate? Wow, that is rad. Okay. So many of you posted about how much you hate social media. So I want to encourage you to find that person or 2 people who love making social media stuff so that you can post on social regularly. And if you don't want to post at all, have them sit next to you while you're doing your critical work, while your hands are working, while you're doing something a little less brain necessary, while you're spinning the next thing. Have them sit next to you and say, okay, I'm going to post this, and then read it back to you. Or you can tell them like, oh, this is my new thing. I wanted to share this with you, and let them post it. Canva. Oh, nice, Allison. Canva. Being trained in Canva is so fun. Helps you 100% with social media. Depending on where you're posting, Instagram doesn't love words necessarily in the actual photograph. That's not a high traffic piece. Like they don't love words on pictures, but somebody gave me a 30-day reel challenge to make a reel every single day for 30 days. And I've grown my business. I mean, like my followers have gone up by 900 followers since doing reels. Yes, one of them was really silly. You can go find me on Instagram, but what do I want to say? One of the things that I shared on Instagram has been watched like 30,000 times. And it's a rip on beneficial 7 orders off the first one. People had no connection. Yes, exactly. Sarah, I love that you know this, that these are people who had no connection to you. I don't even know if that's going to work, but Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram, but I did one a couple weeks ago and I'm like shoveling snow because it was a snowpocalypse in Alaska. And I was like, oh, I don't always shovel 14 inches of snow, but when I do, I prefer to wear my bougie Huckleberry Woman earrings. Shared, saved, sent to other people. Like it's been sent to like 360 different people. Like, you know how you can like send it to someone else? So many followers from that. And oh, last part, if you don't have a business account, if your Facebook or Instagram is not business, I want you to go change it to a business account. It's free. And so that you can look at your insights and your analytics. Okay. So the books that, oh, just kidding. These right here, I'm serious, this will change your mind. We can't go into all of this in a single hour, but pull these up. Order them now, find them at your library, get them on your Audible, and start listening to a chapter a day. At least one. Intersperse them. So that's 8 days. If you listen to one chapter of each of these each week for the next however long until it's over, your mind will not be the same.